Welcome everybody to day 2 of the CRAA Fall Classic here on the campus of University of South Carolina upstate. We've got a great slate of games coming to you today, starting off with Ohio State versus St. Thomas, two teams with contrasting styles. I'm Alex Goff. I'm here with USA Eagle Carly Waters. And Carly, St. Thomas taking the field we see there. What are some of the things that they've been thinking about?
Big highlights for St. Thomas today are going to be keeping ball in hand and just running it up the field and shoving it down their throat. They have some big carriers and they rely on that heavily in their attack.
Very, very fast and experienced St. Thomas team out of Florida. And then Ohio State, well, they are mostly players from Ohio itself. They've recruited very well from some of the programs in there. And what are some of the keys for them?
Keys for Ohio today are going to be defense by offense. They're looking to minimize St. Thomas's time with ball in hand. Yeah, so
they're concerned with that, what you just said about St. Thomas, and so instead, let's just hold on to that ball face. Some lineup changes for Ohio State as exams have kept a couple of players back, but we do have some players to watch, and it's going to be an exciting game. Two contrasting styles. We'll be right back after a little break for the game, Ohio State versus St. Thomas.
Rugby is a sport where teamwork truly makes the difference. In alignment with the values of rugby, Globant and Major League Rugby join forces in a powerful innovation scrum that aims to elevate the sport using the latest technologies. We are already co-creating digital solutions to impact the game, the fans, and the global community in a sustainable way. When technology meets passion, the unthinkable happens. Globant, technology that dares to delight.
It's time to hit. It's time to pass. It's time to train, step, and tackle. It's time for tradition. And time for brotherhood. It's rugby time, America. It's rugby time, America.
Whey protein is my favorite product. Best part about it is I can have it straight after a workout or a training session.
My favorite product is vitamin D. Back in DC, we practice a lot indoors, especially in winter, don't get a lot of sunlight, so having some vitamin D is important. We select Thorne because we know it's tested and it's safe to use.
Well, welcome back to this first game of day 2 of the CRAA Fall Classic with Ohio State in the white and red against St. Thomas, a relatively new rugby program out of Florida. They played in a bowl game last spring in the culmination weekend for CRAA in May and beat Air Force on the final play of the game, just about 27-24. So that was an exciting one here. Players to watch as we get set to kick off. Tommy Kilbane is going to be kicking off for Ohio State. Freshman fullback has emerged as a pretty dangerous player for them. And keep an eye out for Welton Shanambira, the fly half for St. Thomas. He is electric. Well, first ball out of the first ruck, and it is knocked on. And Carly Waters, that's exactly what Ohio State wants. Let's make them make a turnover and keep the ball scrum time. They're very happy with that.
Exactly. Ohio State today is looking to give themselves opportunities and just graft into space. They're looking to manipulate defense and defend the least amount possible, given St. Thomas's threats.
And certainly there are some wide open threats. Jack Dulick, the captain will be putting it in for Ohio State. Big shove from St. Thomas. And the referee says, you know what, let's reset that.
First scrum of the day is always daunting for any team. It certainly sets the tone potentially for how this game's going to go, and it also allows each team to know what platform is going to be a good base for them moving forward. Where they can get calls, where they can get advantages, what the ref's exactly looking at. Right there, what I saw from St. Thomas of their loose head, I saw him engage and then immediately kick his hips out. So as a referee, that's something I'm looking for and something that you would penalize after the engage. Got to see if they're keeping their elbows up right there. Yep.
And they go with an 8-9. Nice pickup from Dulick. And he's looking to connect with Widener and get it out to the right wing. Garnes.
Wow.
Is he there? He stayed in field. He's in for the try. Beautiful finish from actually Jaden Garnes. And Garnes really just sort of stayed on his feet.
Well, fantastic, easy execution there from Ohio State. It's a very simple play with misdirects. And if you looked at it at the end of the day, ideally you want to be able to create a 2-on-1 on the edge. They weren't able to execute that, but Darns, just with his footwork and ability to go forward, was able to maintain his feet and get over the line.
As you said, Carly, simple stuff in a way. It's an 8-9 move.
World class is simple things done well.
Yeah.
So.
Nice pickup from Jack Dulick to get that out there. Oliver Widener, who is a freshman out of St. Xavier, feeding it out to Jaden Garnes, who is out of the St. Charles rugby program in Ohio. Kilbane from a long way out, hooks it a little bit, doesn't go over, but after the injury to Aiden Pixton on Ohio State, he stepped up as a goal kicker. Had been very important. As we look at this play once again, coming off the scrum, and this could be a good platform for Ohio State.
The 10 was able to do something with nothing after a messy ball off the back.
And Garnes just superbly well in staying in field, not getting pushed into touch. So important.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see how St. Thomas responds to this.
And now St. Thomas has hardly touched the ball. Up with the kick.
Big energy off the line there from their 6.
Taken well by Fairfield. Phillips drops him down. Owen Phillips, number 6 for St. Thomas. Played for a club I played for many, many years ago, Old Albanians in St. Albans, Hertfordshire. But there's the kick. Clear from Kilbane, getting down to Makumba. Makumba looking to counterattack, and this is the kind of game you'll want to see from St. Thomas. They'll want to run it.
Looks like referees here having a really big focus on her offsides line.
Matuba gets it out, and then a nice little interplay with the forwards. Shooting up to make the tackle. It looks like that was Chris Mason. Well, the kick through. Kilbane has it. He's tackled. He's lifted up a little bit, and referee will want him to be put back down. Ohio State has that ball. Once again, working through those pods, trying to get a little bit of distance so perhaps they can exit. Yes, the whole discussion is everybody set in the pocket, but they've gone outside the 22. That makes a difference into the type of kick they're going to put in, and that is a high, lofting one. Pelva.
Really interesting there. You saw all of Ohio State retreating behind the kicker, which is due to the new law of you have to actively retreat when you're considered offsides.
Makumba going in there. Matuba digs it out. Charumbira out to the lock forward. Testero. Good carry from him. Charumbira again looking to just send a flat pass to big, strong runners, as Carly Waters pointed out. Those big, hard carriers, that's an important part of St. Thomas's attack. Player isolated. Is that a turnover for Ohio State? Yes, it is.
Great effort at the breakdown there.
Maximus Clark. Really tough-minded hooker for Ohio State. Once again, going for the kick. A high ball this time. Not much of a chase. Under it was Daniel Crawford. He wasn't able to handle it and knocked forward. So that's a win for Ohio State.
Really great decision there and good tactical execution. If you're watching a lot of international rugby these days, you're seeing a super increase in the amount of contestable kicks in the air. If we're going to do that, we do need chasers. So could use a little more effort on that aspect. But they're doing this because around the new laws, you can no longer chaperone defensively to support the player. They're looking for a one-on-one fair contest in the air. And if somebody's going down, it's both of them.
And under it was somebody whose job isn't normally one to field kicks, the hooker, and let that one drop. So that again is a scrum. Middle of the field for Ohio State. Jack Dulick putting in, the captain out of St. Ignatius High School up in Cleveland.
Again, same positioning they had before when they were able to score.
Another big shove from St. Thomas, and another little move off the side, a loop move there between Widener and Dulick. And offside, St. Thomas. You talked about that, Carly. You said she was keeping an eye on it.
You could see the first, how many minutes in? The first 5 minutes especially, she was at breakdown, really big on it. She's marking the line. She's giving them the verbal command. She's making it known this is something she's looking for. Here we are, few more minutes go by. She's going to give the call. She's given the warning. She's done. This is a statement.
That's right.
We will abide by it.
And consistency in your calls and saying, I'm going to penalize that, and then penalizing it. Players respect that.
Something a lot of people aren't really aware of, I think, with refs is that just like we watch film on the opponents we're going to play, they are also watching film on the teams that they are refereeing. They're looking for key points and trends and traits that they need to keep an eye on moving forward. They're not doing it to create bias, but they need to know as well.
And a sloppy ball from that lineout for Ohio State. But then not the best of kicks from Charambira and fielded by Mason for Ohio State.
Well, an interesting decision there as well because St. Thomas was an 8-on-3 defense. So just a little panic there. We always kick out of inspiration, not desperation.
Widener getting that to Williams, Jaden Williams out of St. Edward in Cleveland. Widener again, setting that up. The attack is down the... Tried to get that offload. The ball was knocked clear, and it's going to be called a knock-on over there on the left wing. A tough one. We do have a player down, and Ohio State, as you said, short a couple of players because of certain exams, and they needed, whether it was players procrastinated in rescheduling exams or whatever it was, and then a couple of injuries in a B-side game yesterday hurt their depth, and we do have a player down, and that's unfortunate.
Really impressive stuff so far by Ohio State. I think it's always daunting when you look on paper and know the depth or the skill set or history of these other teams, and St. Thomas is known. They have a ton of internationals, and like we said, Ohio State is an academic school.
Yep.
These boys are going there to study. They're going there for their futures. So, and most of them are from the state of Ohio.
Yes.
There is a rich history of boys rugby coming through Ohio. So it's great that they have this opportunity. But you can just see the confidence in Ohio because while on paper they're not necessarily the higher performing team, right?
Right.
But their ability to know their roles and know how to highlight each other's skill set is certainly showing through so far.
We see Gavin McLevy there, the coach at St. Thomas. He started that program and has been working hard to build that. Recruited a lot from overseas. We have a lot of players from Zimbabwe, Namibia, but also his connection with the Okapi Wanderers in Florida, getting the young kids from the Okapi program to want to stay in South Florida. And so that's a really interesting mixture that they have. And as you pointed out, Carly, with Ohio State, that unity, a lot of these players, they've played with each other, maybe in middle school. They were teammates, and then they've been opponents, and then back again being teammates. They brought in a couple of younger coaches, Taylor Howden, Alan Hansen, Peter Malcolm, all coming in to help coach this Ohio State team. A little bit of new blood in the coaching staff. Welcomed by there. And as they pack down for this scrum, Ivan Moore, who is the prop for St. Thomas, would like to give a shout out to his one-year-old son, Kingston. He said he promised to say hi. So hi to Kingston Moore. Hope you're watching and having a good time. A win for St. Thomas's scrum, but it wasn't easy. And they're just working their way through. I'm sure Daddy Moore is working his way through in tight there as well.
No. scrum was great by Ohio State. Gave them a little more contest, and it caught St. Thomas off guard as the ball shot out the back.
And again, we talked about them running and trying to test that defense. And they pushed it, but a little bit of a loose pass and into touch. And that'll be a line out for Ohio State. So well defended ultimately by Ohio State, and they've got another attacking chance.
You can see something we would talk about at the national team level is the mindset within defense. It's not just, oh, we'll stick it out and hope for a turnover. It's attack without the ball. We're still going for your throw. We're intending to transfer pressure and create pictures that are positive for us.
A bit of an overthrow, tapped back for St. Thomas. Phillips able to offload that one. Actually, I think that was Cruzado. Carambira, oh dear, that might be an intentional knock on. See that one hand go out. We're just going to have a little discussion here, and yes, that's an intentional knock on. When you see that one hand go out to try and catch the ball and knock it down, that's usually an intentional.
Exactly, that's what the referee's exactly looking for. One hand, two hands, are you hitting it down? Are you trying to tip it backwards? Because the degree of effort essentially will dictate the severity of the call. Because in some instances that could be deemed a yellow card, especially if they would deem it malicious if they're in scoring range. They're within 10 meters of that try line. You've now prevented it. You are now at risk for both a yellow card and a penalty try.
Jaden Williams goes up and steals that one. Dulick rescues it, but he's all alone. Fairfield clears out. And Williams, in fact, gets on his horse to go do the pickup. Good carry from the young St. Edward freshman. Just had a really good season for St. Edward. A couple of seasons. One player is down for St. Thomas. Got a bit of a knock, and they are just going wide. Quick pass from Chris Mason. A little chip up in the air from Kilbane. Nicely caught. And back up. We're going to go back.
Here we go. Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. In terms of contestable kicks, 8 on St. Thomas slowed his feet there to protect his player that was receiving the ball. That is no longer acceptable. We're looking for a one-on-one even contest.
A little cynical, just sort of getting unintentionally on purpose in the way, and we're policing that a little tighter.
Exactly. Well, and that's exactly what referees are looking for. You can chase back, but are you changing your line of run, and are you changing your pace?
Yeah.
If I'm running back to support you, I must run beyond you.
Right.
I can't stop there and meander and have a look at what's going on.
Max Clark will want to get this throw right. They need to get that lift right as well. Lineouts have not been great for Ohio State so far. This one, they go to the back and a little bit too far again. It rolls into the head of Charambira, and it is a loose ball, and good tackle there. I think that was from Dulick that just knocked the ball loose and back to a scrum. Ohio State's going to love the idea that they've got a scrum inside the St. Thomas 22, and it's still just 5-0. We are we got about 27 minutes left in this first half, so it's still plenty of time. But 5-0 Ohio State lead, but looking to perhaps double that lead.
I'm loving Ohio State's energy thus far. Every single time they've had an opportunity, they've worked so hard to capitalize on it, and it's just showing off in gains and ends. They have 5 on the board right now.
Widener standing off on the left side. Kilbane on the right side. Both of them freshmen. Will have been playing against each other in the state final just this past spring, and now are teammates.
This is a hard picture for St. Thomas here because so far Ohio State have showed they can attack and attacked very positively off both sides of the scrum. Right. You see they have 4 on the left side and 2 on the weak, so therefore they have more space to be more creative on the right side.
Good scrum from Ohio State. Widener trying to link up through to Kennedy. Off to the left wing, Fairfield.
Penalty there, just had him around the neck on the tackle.
Now looking maybe to tap quickly, and no, everybody slows it down. Connor Fairfield trying to finish that one off. The senior out of St. Edward. looking to get into public policy and advertising. And the tap. They've decided to go for the tap. Big thundering hit. Stops him cold. But the forwards get to work now. This is Ohio State's bread and butter. And a try for the Buckeyes. And as we look to get that number, who got that one? He's a little bit slow to get up, and that's Maximus Clark going in, doing his job to get the try.
Now, Alex, I believe you're involved with St. Ignatius, correct?
I am, yes.
So have you coached any of these boys?
I have coached adjacent, having coached freshmen.
Okay.
I haven't spent a lot of time, a little bit with Tommy Kilbane some years ago. A couple of the kids who come on the reserve grade will be, but I've known the kids that sort of around them a little bit more. But probably Tommy is the one that I've, that and Timmy Lonzo, who's on the bench, would be
Either way, I think being as involved as you are within the rugby community in Ohio, it's got to be exciting to see them at an event like this.
It is very exciting to see them.
And just executing, and putting themselves in a really good position for postseason. And
the kick is away from Kilbane, so it's 10-0. But yes, it is very exciting to see them play and get involved in high-level games. And program-wide, they were very excited to see a couple of years ago Rick Rose with St. Ignatius, as we see the replay for this try, Max Clark going in there. Rick Rose, the #1 pick in the MLR draft, not this past spring, but the spring before, was a St. Ignatius alum, and everybody at St. Ignatius was enormously excited for him.
Really great tactics there on the pick and go from Ohio State. You see one player latch to the ball carrier while another is immediately latching over to a threat and creating that space exactly for Maximus to get in.
Well taken in the air by Trask. Oh, and a little bit pass behind. There's a little bit of a trouble moment for Ohio State. St. Thomas looking to perhaps push them back, put the Buckeyes under pressure. And we haven't seen St. Thomas work with the ball much inside the Ohio State half. As Kilbane launches a pretty good clearance kick that rolled down the sideline. It stayed in field. And a good enough chase just to stop that. Mutumba, though, going through and the offload. And this is a little bit more about what we expect to see from St. Thomas. Charumbira now linking up with Napton. Napton charges through. Charumbira feeds his outside center. Schaff goes through, but he is smacked down with alacrity, and it is a knock forward. That is a big tackle from Matt Decker to lock forward.
Absolutely great line work there in a break by Lay. He had the outside shoulder, drove back in, and was able to wiggle out. And it's just unfortunate he had that handling area. He had support from his 15 on the outside.
Well, the tackles are being made so far. And Ohio State now looking to have big discussions to exactly what they want to do here. And they're not really set up for a clearance kick, and thinking perhaps about more of an attacking idea. Here we are. It's a nice sunny day here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's not super warm at all, but
we're in the shade.
It's not as cold as it was yesterday.
No, but we do have a breeze today.
Yeah, a bit of a stronger breeze, really. Dulick digs it out. Well taken.
Ooh.
A little bit of a chip ahead. That was not quite what he wanted from Seamus Kennedy. And so really kind of a turnover there. Cruzado going through. Charumbira looking to feed his runners. And there's Ivan Moore. Charumbira looking to run a keeper. Tackled nicely by Decker. And that's Crawford.
Ohio State looking very connected in their defense.
And a chip ahead from Charambira. He will do that, and that's trouble. Well covered by Fairfield, taken into in goal and touch it down. And I think that will be scrum 5 for St. Thomas. They're going to love that. That's a pretty good outcome.
Absolutely, especially given how their scrum platform's been going. But there's nothing more empowering for a scrum than when it's crunch time. And it's right now the forwards take this seriously. This is a personal battle for them. Hey, if we don't show dominance or show up and compete in this aspect, we're putting our backs in a potentially very hard situation.
That was a good cover, but what a nicely weighted kick as well. Bounced just before the try line.
And it was clear everyone was on the same page.
Yes.
Two players on the hunt for the ball. They know their skill set. And then they capitalized by driving Ohio State into their try zone. Looks like we've got some blood on the field.
A little bit just patching somebody up for a second. You can come and just take care of that. So we'll just have a little bit of a break in the action here. But so far, Ohio State has done much of what they wanted to do. Able to keep the ball a little bit better and get those 2 tries. They are probably playing a little bit more defense than maybe they wanted to.
St. Thomas?
Or Ohio State playing, you know,
yeah.
they've had to absorb some of this approach.
Yeah, but I have agreed with their tactical decisions to kick, and they've been on the same page. Just that last one there, we call it 0 degrees. So like the back of the scrum would be a 0 degree receipt, and so you're in a more positive position to make and break gain line. So he had received it at exactly 0 and then almost panicked a little because it had gotten away from him. Where for me, that's a positive picture. Even if you just carry, we've made more meters than we started with.
We do have a blood substitution coming on, and Waden Tindenberg comes off, and Davey Kotnick, one of those players I did coach as a freshman, coming on at tight head prop, a freshman now at Ohio State. He'll come on as a blood sub for the moment, and a crucial time to come on and then have to take care of business in this scrum. A really good opportunity for St. Thomas. And that weak side, I think, is just sort of beckoning maybe for Matuba to do something about it. Shipang Matuba from South Africa, studying architecture, and went to Gray's College in South Africa, very prestigious rugby school there. Bit of a sloppy.
What an outcome there for Ohio State. It looks like just a miscommunication at the back there.
Yep.
The 9 and the 8 colliding with each other. But still, this is still could be a statement.
Yes.
For both teams. Ohio State saying, yep, this is our area and we're going to defend it. And St. Thomas coming in being like, yeah, we made an error, but we're going to get it back.
Just left the ball behind as he was trying to take it out. Just slightly impatient maybe, but not a lot of space for your kicker in a relatively shallow try zone for Ohio State to kick out of. And a big shot from St. Thomas.
Here we go. We talked about this earlier in the day. Loose head prop for St. Thomas. He's square on the engage, but then on the first initial drive, he is kicking his hips out, and that's exactly what our referee Gray is seeing here.
And that is a let off for Ohio State. They get to kick to touch, but their line out has been a little bit of a struggle. So let's see if they can retain that. Set piece work is generally a point of pride for Ohio State. It's not been great so far today. Clark now, a shortened line out, and they take this one a little bit more settled, cleaner ball.
Brought it down to the down and pop there just to test St. Thomas's offside lines at the line out.
Excellent drive up front. I think that was Markson taking it ahead, but turned over.
Oh, we have a little tussle going on in the back there.
A little bit off the ball, extra clear out, and come back, a high tackle. And Ohio State was on the front foot for all money and then turned that ball over. And now settling it down, St. Thomas thinking, And are we going to go for points? Yes, they pointed with a 0 on the scoreboard. Carly, sometimes you just want to get a number up there.
Exactly. I think this is a good decision for them. Points are points, and this is clearly showing to be a more competitive game than maybe either were ready for. And the last 2 lineouts for St. Thomas were overthrows, while their last 2 scrums, they've just received a penalty. So in terms of options here, creating real opportunity for them, this is a good option.
Welton Charambira from Harare, Zimbabwe. Kyle College.
Nice strike.
Biomedical engineering.
Just left of the post.
Major, but he misses that kick. That was a good option, but still misses. Still, it'll go for a 22 dropout.
Yep, and the difference for a 22 dropout as compared to a goal line dropout is the ball strictly has to pass the line. That's it. That's why we see St. Thomas 3 and 4 usually put 2 taller players up in front there just to eliminate some opportunity for them. What a great strike, but this ball does have to stay in bounds.
And it did.
Nice.
They left it to see if it would go out on the full, but it didn't. It bounced, and that was just about perfect situation for
exactly.
Ohio State.
Perfect execution. So impressed so far with Ohio State's tactical management of this game. It's really paying to their favor.
Tindenberg back on the field after having his blood issue attended to. Kotnick takes a seat, gets a couple of congratulations, having done the job. Well taken.
Cheeky little play there. The hooker folding around and pays off.
And the breakthrough and the sidestep, can you believe that? And there's JP Ariola in for the try out of nothing almost, but a planned little peel move that Ohio State was not looking for, and that actually was Jobe Napton. A 7 and a 3 look a lot alike from this distance, I have to say.
It's okay, our screens are smaller than usual.
Right. And there, so coming through, that was a nicely executed play, taken down. I think that was Pancorvo with the take and the pop to Napton. Napton out of Halifax, England, looking to be a professional rugby player at some point, and was on the Yorkshire Championship team. Kick is good, and we have a 10-7 game. Let's see if we can have another look at this try. He showed quite the turn of pace.
Really creative by them.
And there's the sidestep.
He's moving like he's a winger.
Yes.
Very impressive. But also that's the expectation around the back row.
Yes.
We put you in the outside channel. You can hang with the wingers. You're going to have higher fitness test scores, and you're just going to be able to do exactly what the back three are doing with a little more weight and power behind it.
Now with the kickoff, Ohio State now still retains the lead, 10-7. But St. Thomas will take a lot of...
and this is going to be... stayed in.
Well, probably should have left that to roll one way or the other, but that was knocked forward. Had that ball been kicked directly into touch, that would have gone back to the point of the kick because it had been passed into the 22-meter area.
Exactly.
And so that was a little bit of a shanked kick.
Hard position to be in there for the wing because he was pretty flat to the line already, so he's not able to gauge his depth necessarily and understand what the right decision there could have been for him. But again, Ohio State was looking connected on defense and applied a significant amount of pressure there for St. Thomas's 10 to feel that and panic in his kick execution and selection.
Shupang Matuba puts it in. Hopes get some clean ball. That's a good scrum. I don't know what Ohio State think they're doing there, being offside, popping off that scrum when the ball wasn't out and coming all the way around. That seemed like a fairly needless penalty to give. I think that was Trask on the...
I think with the wheel, they couldn't necessarily tell what was going on, but as a 9, my role is to let my forwards know what's going on there.
Right.
Really heavily relying on that, especially when now our 7, that wheel is very positive for St. Thomas because they've taken away Ohio State's 7 out of the picture there. So it's a little harder for Ohio State to defend because now they're down a defender.
Bit of a chat from the referee about that. I think, you know, we're seeing quite a few penalties and maybe just some of them seeming to be a bit cynical. Ball's kept in. Fairfield bringing it back.
Great carry by him, getting an easy 20 meters. Oops.
Another powerful run, the pod working this time for Ohio State. This is more of the continuity they're looking for. Widener trying to connect with Mason. Good clear out from Kilbane. And Kilbane will step in at scrum half. Clark going in. Slow ball coming out of that ruck. And in fact, the turnover is good.
Just saw first arrival there and allowed the turnover to occur. And if the player can get the ball away, they want to do that as opposed to blowing the whistle for the penalty.
Schaff still working his legs. Good carry from the center. Now Crawford out to Charambira, looking to connect with Moore with the dummy. Phillips. Matuba to Charambira, gets out of a tackle, and this is what he can do. Once you fail to tackle him the first time, he's going to be gone. And Welton Charambira goes in for the try for St. Thomas and puts St. Thomas in the lead.
Charambira is clearly a staple within this team, giving the marching orders, making things happen. I think this will probably give him confidence going into the next 11 minutes that's left in this game, to see where they can end up going into half.
And coming in low, you want to chop him down, but if you miss, if he hops out of that tackle, then suddenly he's got a hole, and then he doesn't need much of an invitation with his acceleration.
Well, Ohio State has done so well in their one chop, one kill, or their double tackles for the forwards in the middle of the field. They know exactly, they have studied their opponents well. That's just a slight error there in terms of execution. Great strike.
Charambira with the kick and the conversion. Now St. Thomas leads 14-10 with about 11 minutes left in this half. And a bit of a talk under the post by Ohio State. And probably the message is, let's get back to what we were doing. Why don't we keep the ball, first of all? We can't afford those turnovers. We've seen 2, I think, crucial turnovers in the tackle that resulted or eventually led to tries in their own half. And then really you can't afford that.
No, and exactly, up until this point, Ohio State has capitalized on every opportunity and handling error and penalty that St. Thomas has given them, and that was the first time that St. Thomas was awarded 2 back-to-back, marched themselves down the field, and executed their skill sets.
Charambira feels that one, immediately puts the boot to it, and sends it very nicely into touch. That is quite the clearance.
Yes, great execution there. Just keeping Ohio State in their half.
It's a good 40-meter kick into the breeze, by the way. And once again, we've got to see what Ohio State can do with their lineout. They've shortened that lineout. That produced some good, solid ball. Now, once again, Clark with the throw. Taken by Williams.
Just a whistle on the field here.
And we're going to go back and just rethrow that. Whether the referee wasn't ready. And this one taken, they went to the back this time. Widener trying to connect. The pass goes behind Kilbane. He scoops it up and then kicks it into touch. And that's an interesting one. I mean, it sort of was passed in, but it was a loose ball. Very well done as a rescue from Kilbane. And they're asking that, St. Thomas saying that was brought back in. because it was a pass from a player outside the 22 in behind a player inside the 22. The referee is saying no. And Daniel Crawford with the throw for St. Thomas. Up very well taken. Nicely secured by Napton, the try scorer. And they're looking for that flat pass. They were trying to burst Mukumba in through. Didn't quite happen, but if that had connected, boy, that was dangerous.
Really short advantage there. We did have regather and overload on the outside, but looks like referee Montrose is just sticking to the script right now and going to give the attacking platform an opportunity.
Referee Montrose with the call today, with Morgan Rinakama and Rich Warden on the sidelines. Dulick with the put in for Ohio State. Better scrum from Ohio State. He's got some options. Going to go left, and it is dropped. Oliver Widener just stands there, kind of disgusted with himself, and he knows that was really just a case of him taking the eye off the ball, and now it'll be a scrum for St. Thomas. I think that's what happens when you suddenly get a team big line speed coming into you. You start to just look for them.
Well, you start to think that, but you also start to worry more about your next action as opposed to the first action. I just have to catch the ball,
right.
And then I'm going to get my head around,
catch the ball
and
first.
then I'm going to execute the pass.
Right.
Everything still has an order, exactly.
And we saw that with Matuba Tuba with that scrum, attacking scrum, where he tried to run before he had the ball in his hands. And there's a chance there. Newhoff going in, high tackle.
Yeah.
I think we might see a card here. There had been a warning.
Just real straight up tackle there. Ball carriers able to maintain their momentum forward. So we're going to start it. Next one certainly will be a card. The referee has painted the picture. This isn't acceptable. This is our second conversation. And this tackle was a little more dangerous than the prior.
Connor Fairfield, the guilty party this time. And just, he got a stern talking to. As we see, we get a replay here up there. It's kind of almost head to head. The danger factor, the risk factors was high. And I don't think referee Montrose wants to start flashing cards around, no. But she's going to have to if there are too many.
You never do as a referee. No one's looking to give cards.
Charambira now has pointed to the post, 47.5 meters. It's high enough, it's long enough, it is straight enough, it is right through the middle. An outstanding kick from Welton Charambira. We talked about him as being somebody to watch. Well, you can't help it. He is logging point after point. He's got 12 so far in this game, and it's just coming up to the first half. 17-10 now.
Impressive range by him, and also good to see that after taking the risk on the first one and being a little off the mark, that he's confident enough to have a go again.
Charambira seems to find his way under the ball no matter what, or the ball finds him. Well taken by Fairfield. And it might have been Widener, excuse me. Goes into contact. Still fighting it, and it's turned over. St. Thomas has turned this over. This is what they want. They want to get that turnover ball and counter before Ohio State knows what's what or where they are. Going into Testero. Testero pops it off to Crawford. Crawford makes a move. He is tackled. Kilbane takes him down.
He wasn't held in the tackle, so it would have been great to see him get up and have a go again.
And they're keeping the ball alive. Matuba Tuba, and then out to Mukumba. Mukumba dives into the corner, and that is a beautiful open field try from St. Thomas, from lock to hooker to scrum half to fullback, everybody getting involved, and 22-10 now St. Thomas leads.
I think this is exactly the St. Thomas that Ohio State was prepared for. No game is won in the first 40, so both teams are just getting warmed up. But now St. Thomas has found their footing. It's probably a little colder than they've experienced in the last however many months.
Or for some of these guys, ever, I think.
Yeah, honestly, yes.
But Noku Mukumba goes in with the try. And he's from Windhoek, Namibia, computer science major. Went to Falcon College High School in Zimbabwe. And he was on the Zimbabwean national under-13 team and national junior 7. So you can see he's got that elusiveness and has also played soccer for Namibia.
Wow, what an opportunity.
And Churambira's kick. Oh, yes! Oh. I thought it was over. And then there was a little bit of a delay. Just sneaked around that far post. And it is in. And we adjourn for halftime. 24-10. Ohio State ran out to a 10-0 lead, and then
I think we're going to play the kickoff.
No, we are not going to. Yeah, everyone was running to the sideline. Then suddenly the referee said, "No, come on back." So we're not at halftime quite yet. And here's the replay. That dummy from Mutumba, and then the finish in the corner from Mukumba. Kickoff rolls into touch.
What?
And there's just a little bit of discussion as to whether that went out on the full. Referee Montrose says, did it go on the full? No, it didn't. We're good. So a line out for St. Thomas. One more chance. One more shot for them, and they could score from here.
Oh.
And it did go out on the full, so we're going to go back to a scrum center.
Redecision there, yeah. When the ball goes out on the full off the kickoff, it is an option from the receiving team. They can either take the scrum center or allow the other team the opportunity to re-kick,
right.
Which I don't think in any situation I've ever seen anyone choose that.
I have called for a re-kick, but that's usually on
like a growth opportunity.
Right, like a high school, development thing.
Yeah.
They're like, just have them kick again. I'm tired of doing scrums in center.
Yeah. Well, or if it's a wet weather day and then we're scrumming every 5 minutes.
Then you want to run out in the middle and say, okay, this is how you do a kickoff.
But that's the beauty of rugby, is that all week our coaches and staff give us the tools to understand and execute and empower us on the field, and then come game day, it's down to us as the players to make the decisions, understand what's being instilled in us, and execute.
8-man pick from Cruzado. Cruzado still running. The Okapi Wanderer alumnus. Big, strong, powerful run there, done well. Now coming through, looking with Napton. Dug out by Matuba. Good tackle there. Is that a turnover for Ohio State? It certainly is. Big collision off that first pod. Second effort sees Ohio State go, but that is a loose ball. Everyone cleared out over it, but the ball was just sitting there. And that has been, certainly that's got to be a work on for Ohio State. They have not secured the ball the way they want to. That would have been a good opportunity to call for the mark. And instead what we have is a penalty. Not sure if that was potentially a high tackle, potentially just diving on over. Could have been either one, but Ohio State just sort of clinging on.
Yeah, I'm thinking high tackle just because we're not seeing her secondary action from our side, and if it was the diving over, we would see at least her elbow coming around there.
We are now at halftime. 24-10, St. Thomas has blown the doors off this so far in the last 20 minutes, but can Ohio State come back? They've certainly shown the ability, and so
this is still a game.
This is certainly still a game.
No question about it.
And all right, we will, as we look at this and see everybody just sort of shaking hands a little bit after that first half, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with a little bit more about the first half and talk about what we can expect in the second half here at the CRAA Fall Classic.
To understand the game in its fullest, you need to understand what's happening to the ball.
Gilbert is synonymous with every major event that's happened in our sport.
The ball is a conductor of the orchestra. We put a tiny microchip inside the ball. We're getting location information from the ball, speed, spin, distance, trajectory, hang time.
The technology and the innovation behind this ball is truly a game changer.
Whey protein is my favorite product. Best part about it is I can have it straight after a workout or a training session.
My favorite product is vitamin D. Back in DC, we practice a lot indoors, especially in winter, don't get a lot of sunlight, so having some vitamin D is important. We select Thorne because we know it's tested and it's safe to use.
Pickle Juice, the official hydration partner of the College Rugby Association of America. Pickle Juice is proven to stop and prevent muscle cramps. Get the edge you need to finish. Okay.
At Ohio State, we are the agile, bold breakthrough teams. The never afraid to innovate teams. And the achieve more together teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Welcome back, and we are at halftime. St. Thomas versus Ohio State here at the CRAA Fall Classic. 24-10, St. Thomas leads after falling behind 10-0. And it's been a back-and-forth game. It's been an interesting contrast of styles. And finishing it off with a couple of exciting tries. Here's the opening score for Ohio State. A really nice finish from Jaden Garn, staying infield. Pretty basic try. And then this breakaway from Joby Napton.
Unbelievable effort there by him.
Great play off that line out. And then this one from Charambira. Look at that acceleration, and Carly, you got to get him down immediately. You can't let him break a tackle.
You got to get him by the laces.
Yeah.
Absolutely anything to hold him down. And if you do have him, I think you hold on a second longer than you typically would.
Nokumakumba finishing it off with a big dive in the corner, and then Charambira with this beautiful kick, 47 meters if it was an inch. Fantastic skill from him. And we are at halftime here. Charambira coming through with 12, with actually 14 points for him so far. And we will be back. We're getting ready for the second half here. St. Thomas against Ohio State.
Rugby is a sport where teamwork truly makes the difference. In alignment with the values of rugby, Globans and Major League Rugby join forces in a powerful innovation scrum that aims to elevate the sport using the latest technologies. We are already co-creating digital solutions to impact the game, the fans, and the global community in a sustainable way. When technology meets passion, the unthinkable happens. Globant, technology that dares to delight.
I have to say my favorite Thorne product is creatine,
White protein.
vitamin D.
Super EPA.
Fish oil pills.
I chose to take Thorne supplements over another brand because they're sports backed.
We know it's tested and it's safe to use.
There's a wide variety of benefits that range from sports performance to neurological benefits. I know it helps me increase my lifting capacity.
That they're third-party tested, that they're NSF certified.
And they also taste great, so that's why I choose Thorne.
With the right plan, the right team, and hard work, even the most unpredictable events can be overcome. At USI, you have the whole team on your side, protecting you from the unexpected and making sure you bounce back better than ever. We take the time to understand your concerns and provide solutions with customized game plans for you and your business. It's Major League focus and results for you, and we call it the USI One Advantage.
It's time to hit.
It's time to pass.
It's time to train, step, and tackle. It's time for tradition. And time for brotherhood.
It's rugby time, America.
It's rugby time, America.
And we're back here at the Upstate Bowl here at the D1, excuse me, the CRAA Fall Classic here at USC Upstate. 24-10. And we were talking about the keys of the game at the beginning with the idea, Carly Waters, that St. Thomas would want to run that ball no matter what. Run, run, run. And do you think they fulfilled that?
I think they've been carrying a lot, but when they've been under pressure, they've panicked and put foot to ball. But now in the last 15 or so minutes, we've really seen their engine ignite and remember what they are capable of.
A little bit of rocket fuel in there for St. Thomas. You know, coming from Florida, coming from South Florida, they know a little bit about launching rockets. And yeah, so conversely, Ohio State, they wanted to control the ball, defense by offense, hold on to the ball, face. We did see that, and then we didn't. Yeah, so it was like turnovers, especially inside their own half. 3 or 4 of those leading to points.
Ohio State was so clean the first 23 minutes. And then to allow the first try for St. Thomas was 2 back-to-back, just almost thought blips in terms of the standards that they were holding up until that point. And that allowed St. Thomas to be able to loosen their collar a little bit and be like, oh, we're in this and we know what we're good at. We have a foot in this still.
Loosen their collar, I like that. Just, okay, calm down a little bit. We're gonna have a little loosen their collar, get to relax by the seaside in the sunshine, and play some rugby. And we are ready for the second half. Getting ready with the kickoff by...
I will say, I think the wind is really picking up here.
It really
you can
is.
see it taking the flags.
Wico Newhoff, and we might see, one of the flags just went down. We will see how that affects both of these teams. Certainly Ohio State happy to start the half with the ball. They just need to keep it. Again, driving over, and that's the sealer. That's the one they need. Kick downfield. Not sure.
4 in the backfield here, so good opportunity for St. Thomas.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the
Great
kick is what
hit
you
there by Ohio State's number 13, Chris Mason.
Mason, a tough guy, more of a
really great IQ
player.
there. Yeah, but really great IQ here by Ohio State's number 11, Connor Fairfield. You saw he knew he had missed a tackle on the strong side, so he's not going to get the dominant, but you see his right hand come around and hit out the back elbow of the ball carrier, and that just leads to a knock, and giving Ohio State their first scrum opportunity of the half.
Another scrum. Good chance to set that platform. See Ian Fairfield at the back.
This is the first setup we've seen for Ohio State on this side. This is their first attacking scrum from the sideline. So far to this point, they've all had center scrums.
Widener setting it out, and that one kind of going behind Mason, but he's weaving his way around, getting go forward. Ohio State able to set that up. Williams, good fend from the young man. Goes into contact well. And once again going with Markson. And St. Thomas very quick. So just a quick little passes there. Fairfield, I don't think he was expecting that, and dropped that ball, and it rolled into touch. And that was the two brothers giving each other a look. Ian Fairfield and Connor Fairfield said, hey, we're supposed to have more of a like telepathic connection than that.
Such as when the wind picks up, though.
And so we will get with a scrum now. St. Thomas setting up a nice little organization of their back line. Charambiro with 3 options. And then Mukumba outside those 3 options. Good solid scrum from St. Thomas. Charambira takes that flat pass for the number 13, Les Schaff. He's tackled, presents it well. Charambira thinks about kicking. He is smacked down, and that loose ball picked up by Napani. Napani tries to offload it. Turnover for Ohio State.
Let's see what they can do here. It's hard to readjust when you're all defensively flat, but that's a great carry by number 2.
Max Clark, just a very physically strong man. Once again, Markson.
Ooh.
Another iffy pass. Fairfield looking frustrated, have to say. And that was not the best service for him. And it'll be a line out for St. Thomas. And still in the middle of the field, both teams trying to break through, both teams making little errors that are turning the ball over. And going deep with that throw. Taken nicely by the lock, and then
timing. 2-on-1 opportunity.
That has to be a try. There's no doubt about it. As Kilbane comes in, tries to knock the ball loose. Try for Owen Phillips.
Really clinical execution there by St. Thomas. They just exactly picked it off. Rugby is essentially a series of 2-on-1s. And when you can break it down to that level, it's sometimes confusing how we make it so complicated.
Right, we do make it complicated, but they're a nice flat pass on a 2-on-1, really, getting Charambira through, and then he has a 2-on-1, and it's amazing, Carly, how many times we see sort of that breakthrough, and a player just takes too long to pass the ball, and really all you need to do is get the attention of that tackler and then dish the ball out.
And especially in America, we don't understand the spacing we need to execute our skill set. It's different for everyone, but we get so close when it's really, I just need a hip shift.
And that's it. You got
Clean
the hip
break.
shift, and there, lovely pass. And in for Phillips, the old Albanian. In St. Albans, Battle of St. Albans, one of the great battles of...
I didn't know we've shared a field before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
I've played there.
You played in
And
St.
I
Albans.
trained there for series.
Excellent, yes.
Very nice
Well,
training ground.
We just lovely. They know how to grow grass there.
It's a science
sure.
there for sure. It's great
And the box
contestable
kick.
kick there.
Taken well by Widener, but knocked free. And then just kicked ahead. What's going on there? But eventually...
It is scary. It's very scary to just dive on a ball.
Yes.
But we do have to remember there is a safety law in place here. If I'm diving on the ball, the defense must allow me an action to stand up to place the ball,
That's
whatever
right.
it is. Looked a little anxious here. He's aware of the sideline. Hey, if I dive, I'm probably going out. But then we just had the tackle, well, assumed tackle off the ball here by 15 for St. Thomas.
And that was a pushing him off the ball as he's trying to do something with it. But it's also scary. You're diving on the ball and somebody's coming in to kick it, and that can be a little bit of an issue. But they just took the line out, decided, let's not worry too much about it. Let's just take that line out. Williams, very nice take from the throw from Clark Widener, sending it out to his midfield with Kennedy.
See, opportunities on both sides for Ohio State here.
Williams again, he's just really showing us something.
Ohio State has done so well to make game line that it's making it hard for St. Thomas to get around the corner, giving them options and opportunity on the outside as they're already set up with an overload.
Almost the jackal, and they really have to work harder on that. A good clear out from Kotnick. Dulick, Widener. A wide pass out to Kilbane, sliding in from Kennedy. A lot of contact going on in these rucks, and they're kind of sloppy to a certain extent. And another knock on, and Ohio State does want that ball, but they need to start making some ground as well. They're having a tough time.
Absolutely. There we go. Everyone's just taking a breather here for the minute, I think. Regather themselves. We're only 8 minutes into this half.
That's interesting. They put Kotnick, I believe, at number 8. Normally a prop. And I think that
every forward wants to play 8 man.
Everybody wants to play.
Everyone's got it.
And maybe he's just adding a little bit more shove, but there's also a depth issue, as we know, from
the second side.
From the, yes.
Yeah.
From this team. So that's the issue. Loose ball. Oh, that's what we just talked about. Diving down, and then the boot comes in, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah.
I think we got a penalty. Dangerous play, and a little bit of a pass off from Matuba. Lost forward by Phillips. He was tackled as he caught the ball. Garnes, try scorer. And a loose ball, nobody really over that. Dulick tried to get in there. Ball charged down.
And the same player that charges down goes and makes that tackle. Great effort by him.
Kotnick. Better rucking by Ohio State. Now Garnes looking to try and offload to Fairfield. Fairfield can't win for losing, trying to get the ball and get to run with it. He just doesn't get it. Makes the tackle, however. Hard run from Testero for St. Thomas.
Ohio State's wall looking very secure right now.
Nice little tips pass. The ball goes wide. Taken by Schaff. Schaff offloads to Newhoff. And good cover defense from Ohio State. They're able to hold on to it. But too many turnovers for Ohio State in their own half, and really we've stayed, aside from that one breakaway try, we've sort of stayed between the 10-meter dotted line in St. Thomas's half to the 22 in Ohio State's half.
Yeah, we really haven't had much asking of each other yet this half. But let's see what Ohio State does with this opportunity. The winds, well, and especially now Ohio State's going into the wind, so if they do want to kick opportunity, they're going to have to be either big grubber rolling on the ground or a line drive over the heads, which puts you at risk because the vertical and ability to get in the way of a ball for men is a lot easier than women.
Ball rescued by Kotnick after that palm back, and St. Thomas is up very quickly on defense. And so the slower static stuff won't work. Kilbane now sells a dummy, looking to offload that, and he was hit just as he thought about it.
Quick
turnover, and guess what? Turnover ball, best ball, especially for a team like St. Thomas. Noku Mukumba comes in for his second try, and trying to run out of their own end is Ohio State because they're going up against the wind, and they turn it over and give up a try.
What ability and confidence there by Noku to just receive the messy ball, look up, understand he's got a mismatch on the end, and just really execute his skill set there with his quick step, change of weight, right foot to left foot, and then accelerate into space.
Second try, the kick is good. Jarambira just notching up the points. I've got 18 for him so far today. Mukumba, 2 tries. Also tries by Phillips and Napton. And on the Ohio State side, Clark and Garnes tries earlier in the game. They had the 10-0 lead. This is a very dangerous St. Thomas team that has been looking to break into D1A. That is something that was a stated goal. Nicely taken by Mason. Not secured by St. Thomas, and Mason is right there. Once again, St. Thomas very quick on that ball. And we see Isaac Rickert is on for Ohio State. Slow ball. Williams.
Ohio State's ball carrying ability has been so impressive thus far. They know their roles when they're going. The support knows, hey, I'm going to latch him through, and the third player is going to take a threat.
We've got players over the ball from St. Thomas, but they got their hands on the ground. Referee says, nope, not good enough. And they're shooting up more, shooting up. Williams able to get around that. And the
Great offload.
Outstanding offload to Kilbane. Kilbane needs a little bit of help. And it's there. Williams is the one coming through. He is isolated. The clear out is there. This is better from Ohio State. Able to get through several phases.
When they're playing quick and playing quick around the breakdown, they're disorienting St. Thomas. They don't know which way to go. They don't know who the threat is. And it's a really good picture for Ohio State.
Clark now, the veteran. Somebody's shoe just came flying. I don't know whose shoe that was.
Well, as we found out in 2021, you can't be throwing shoes around.
Can't be throwing shoes. Kilbane now looking for a wide pass. It works just over the fingertips. And Garnes in for the try. And that was much, much better by Ohio State. You saw when they can create some continuity, they are able to get try, and then Garnes gets his second. That long pass.
We saw a little fatigue setting in. I know I certainly feeling it coming out from the half. The first 10 minutes are just the worst 10 minutes of my life. But here it is. Ohio State found a second win. They battered them down the middle. They used the forwards. We linked value here. We allowed the forwards to do what they are on the field to do. Pick and go, hit pods into space, create disorientation for St. Thomas, while our backs were patient, held the edge, and had to go and were able to finish.
And Kilbane will be lining up this kick. Actually, no, it's not. It's not Kilbane. Sure there. Oh, it was. I'm sorry about that. But he is not able to get that one over. So we're staying with 3 unconverted tries for Ohio State and 36 points for St. Thomas. And back we come with the kickoff from Wicco Newhoff. And there's the touchdown from Garnes. the commercial real estate and urban analysis major. 2 tries for him. Big Carl Niles fan.
Makes sense for a wing. Can aspire.
And Carlin, who is back in Ohio coaching track, ran into him this fall. It was nice to see him again. He's looking good.
I think people forget that outside of rugby, we're real people too.
That's right.
It's almost like teachers. Like you see them in public and you're like, oh my God, she has a dog.
Oh, right. That's exactly right. I saw Carlin Niles buying cheese. Can you believe it?
He buys Tillamook.
Right.
Only the good stuff.
Actually, it's right in his hometown, Grandpa's Cheese Barn in Ashland, Ohio. Got to go there. Get some ice cream, get some specialized cheeses.
Nothing
It's lovely.
beats fresh dairy.
Scrum down.
It's a bit of an early engage here, so have a conversation. It's the first one of the day in terms of that, and we've had some subs come in, so we'll just do a reset and go again.
And what's great about the front row conversation is often between the front rows. It's like, you need over there, you need to get lower, you need to stand a little square so we can do this.
I think it's more like siblings.
Yeah.
He hit me. No, he hit me. Both of you zip it.
Yeah, very much so.
Just a slight handling error there. Tough. Looked like the ball got caught on the back of the foot out of the scrum. Did what they can to receive it, but here we are giving St. Thomas an opportunity in striking distance. Center field scrum. Not much more they could ask for.
Charambira lining up along with Mukumba right behind the scrum. Newhoff and Napani on the right. Schaff and Pelva on the left. As you said, Carly, all kinds of options. Charambira could go left or right.
I think we're going to have a second conversation here in terms of the early engage. But
well, I think Ohio State wants to win that engagement, win that, get in there as early as possible, drive as early as possible.
Yeah, I saw it more from St. Thomas, honestly, on this one, but it is something like a conversation that happens at the front row, is especially when one prop is technically more dominant.
Yep.
There can be a tendency from the opposing player to almost withdraw, where really legally, for everyone's safety, you got to take the hit. You have to take the weight.
Going to the right side. Matuba Tuba trying to unleash Newhoff. Once again going through Napton. And now Newhoff again going left. Charambira. Who connects with Mosi.
St. Thomas really is an opportunity here on the weak side.
And the quick hands out into the corner. And will that be his third? Mukumba had somebody with him, does a little somersault, maybe a 6.4 on that. He didn't land on his feet, so I'll have to deduct him for that. But another try for Noku Mukumba, and that was some quick ball and some quick hands and then a little dummy.
Little fake and bake there by him for his third try of the day.
And those little turnovers. There's Gavin McLeavy looking singularly unimpressed with his team's 41-15 lead. Fine.
Just another day.
Just looks...
Just cold air for them.
Kind of looks like Quint from Jaws, the grouchy face. Charambira puts it over. 25. And at 43 points to 15, I think St. Thomas is well and truly in control. We might see a couple of subs come on at this point. At the same time, plenty of rugby to be played, about 19, 20 minutes left. Ohio State has some rugby to show, and they have shown certainly flashes, but it's those turnovers in their own half that has really killed them. A good take and drop it by Munyaka. Munyaka, good carry for him. And Arujo going forward. Napton. Sort of a half break. And there's an interception. Mason's still going. Can he be caught? Oh, what an excellent offload. And finally,
fantastic effort there.
Connor Fairfield gets a pass to hand, a pass he could possibly catch, and he goes in for the try.
I was just going to say, but like Ohio State is still in there. So they're still fighting. Again, we talked about how on paper it's always hard to look and compare, but they showed up with a lot of fight at the start and definitely shook St. Thomas to their core. And while St. Thomas is in control right now, they're still hunting for opportunities and identifying weaknesses that they can exploit.
I went to see Ohio State against Michigan earlier this year, and well, I knew a bunch of the players, and we talked about some. I was really impressed with Chris Mason. I didn't know him, and he's not a super tall player, but he has emerged as he's a bit of a crossover guy, and he has acceleration and he's tough. He's a wrestler originally, so he set that play up. Kilbane with the kick, and he's not on target for that one.
He just doesn't follow through on his kick.
Yeah. And as we take a look at this play, and St. Thomas did have the ball, and they were just sort of flinging it around. As you say, not held, got up, and that little chicken wing pass.
Quick Sonny Bill, but
yeah.
he was in a pot of three. Carried it ground, let's set the platform and go again. Because they've made gain line, so it's putting Ohio State on the back foot.
Caught on the fly is the restart by St. Thomas. St. Thomas on the front foot. First receiver, Pelva sells a dummy, goes through, offload. Munyaka gets it back. Charumbira, well, he's only got like 7 players to beat. He can do that. Schaff is tackled. Matuba gets it out to Munyaka. Is that a turnover? Ripped free, it looks like.
Absolutely great effort there by Ohio State in their red zone. Let's see what platform they look to set here.
Right on the try line.
Oh. Offsides there in the red zone.
That was Patty McMahon with the poach right on the try line. A clutch play from the St. Edward product who wants to go into orthopedic medicine.
Oh.
All rugby players love an orthopedic surgeon. Very important to rugby players. They take the kick to touch. Didn't get a lot of distance on that. As we talk, you can see the assistant referee's flag is flapping around pretty briskly.
Yeah, they are kicking directly into the wind.
Nicely, oh, it was nicely taken and just lost the handle. And St. Thomas take it, but 2 knock-ons, and we'll go back to the first knock-on there. And once again, not securing set piece when they really, really need to is Ohio State inside their 22. They need to win those line-outs, need to win those scrums. This weak side, Carly, this is just beckoning. I mean, wouldn't you love to just snipe around on this, on the right side?
Only if my 23 and my 6 are going to be in my pocket.
Okay.
Personally.
Well,
They haven't.
goes the open side.
Defensively, 21 for Ohio State has been sound.
Well, all the way out to the wing, 2 passes. And the cover defense is there. Well done by Ohio State. Garnes trying to make a tackle. In fact, forces the knock on into touch.
We've just transferred possession, but we've stayed on essentially the same plane of the field
right.
on the opposite side. Yeah.
Just straight across. Again, St. Thomas trying some of these connections, putting, as you see that long pass. Well, that was a nice little option potentially for Matias Adamo.
Skip passes are great, but unless they're at the line and you've made the defender in front of you make a decision, it's a lot of ball and air time for defense. And it's a really clean picture for somebody that's hungry to go eat some ribs.
Eat some ribs. Good clean win from the lineout for Ohio State. Straight up, one phase and kick to touch. Pretty standard exit, executed well and out to the 10-meter line nearer midfield, and Ohio State relieving a little bit of pressure. I'm sure they would like the ball back. St. Thomas looking at some chances that they have had, haven't quite executed on. Still ahead, 43-20. Batuba to Charabira, and a little show and go. And back inside, dangerous stuff. Pelva has been enjoying his runs once they put him in to the interior. Mattia Pelva. Is that ball out?
Looked out to me.
Referee says play on.
When in doubt, always ask.
Munyaka, yes, and just say, hey, can I go? Batuba. Charambira sending it wide. It was there. Arteta could have had it, but it was just a little bit high for him. And Matthew Arteta, another Okapi Wanderer product, not quite able to get the handle.
Looks like some substitutes are about to come in. We also have an option here for Ohio State since it was past a touch and multiple infringements at hand. So they have the opportunity for the line out or the scrum, and it looks like they've chosen the scrum.
And we do get a substitute in the loose forwards. Patty McMahon takes a well-earned rest. I believe that is Charlie Steen, another St. Ignatius product. And Charlie I know well because I went on tour to Argentina with the St. Ignatius team, and Charlie Steen was in my hotel. And every time we did room check, Charlie was...
Should we hear this?
Charlie was... He was safely in bed reading a book. Everybody else was wandering around. I had to find them. Charlie was studying.
I remember when I pulled that.
Well, Tommy Kilbane has left the field. He's off with an injury, which is unfortunate at fullback, but they're going to move things around. They're going to put Fairfield from the left wing to fullback and bring on, I believe Jack Lang comes on the left wing.
Let's see how they fare with a new back and a new forward in the system.
Well, they've held. And so we have a different kicker.
Not a bad decision.
And that works.
Alleviate some pressure there for them.
Just inch their way down the field. And that would be Seamus Kennedy putting boot to ball for Ohio State. Now about 10 minutes to go in this game. 43-20, St. Thomas leads. New hooker in for St. Thomas with Munashe Undalela throwing in. That one lost. Dulick has it, tried to offload it.
Looks like we're going to have a conversation here with the AR.
Looking for a call there.
Yeah.
He offloaded it and said it came off a St. Thomas player, and the assistant referee is going to say he stepped on the line first, which I think is probably correct. So it just kind of happened right in front of us. Everybody looking for an edge. So we have another St. Thomas lineup, just a couple of meters further down the field.
Oh, substitute coming on here for St. Thomas, it seems. Just a reminder that any calls coming is from what the ref could see. So if you're in a match without ARs, you have to understand that the referee is working as hard as they possibly can to be there, but they cannot see every angle. It's impossible.
Steen takes the ball up, but he is poached.
Ooh, potentially offsides player.
Nice little offload from Undalela. Charambira now goes through with Pelva out to the wide channels into the corner. Try in the corner.
Try in the corner for sure, but I think we're gonna have time off here to have a conversation just in regards of tackle height. Like I discussed earlier, any sort of high tackle there, I did see an arm come around the shoulder, could potentially lead to both a card as well as a penalty try under the post, which would award the full 7.
And it looks like they were just happy with the play as is. And Adamo goes in. Matthew Adamo, all smiles. It's nice to be able to come on and make an impact like that, score a try, finish off a movement. Makes it 48-20. And Charambira with one of his more difficult kick attempts. But the wind might actually aid him here as it's blowing left to right and a little bit across toward him, so might be able to curve that ball in.
I think it will. This is going to be his toughest angle yet.
And the kick is up. And it is through. Beautifully done. Quite the talent.
He's a really nice kick process there, and his strike is always just exactly a line drive. There's no variation in it when he's kicking from tee.
With 6 conversions, a try, and a penalty. With my math, that makes it 20 points.
Here. You saw St. Thomas are just able to isolate and create those 2-on-1s and put him away on the wing.
Matthew Arteta making the last pass for there to Adamo. And Adamo from Buenos Aires, where he played for the St. Andrews Club.
Ooh, slight handling error there off the kickoff.
So we will go with a knock-on from St. Thomas and a scrum for Ohio State. Coming in, this will be an important scrum for them. They're trying to get another try on the board. 50-20. Four tries for Ohio State, no conversions. And all the tries have been out wide.
Luckily, this is not a game that's coming down to that, but
right.
More and more in the international level are we having games where sometimes there's not even tries on the board.
That's
strictly
true.
kick determined.
Dulick gets it out to Kennedy, looking to connect, and that one is a loose pass. And another loose pass. Who can take it? Back in St. Thomas's hands. Counter rut from Ohio State. A pickup, but no, done illegally. There were many gray area illegal things happening in that breakdown.
Too many bodies around the breakdown.
Kotnick on the tap from Fairfield. Dulick digs it out. Back out wide. Ohio State trying to get something going. Get on the front foot, shoved back quite nicely from that St. Thomas defense.
Oh, looks like a turn. Oh.
And another whistle blown within the breakdown.
Yep, looks like we just have a knock on by Ohio State, so we'll reset on the 5-meter for a scrum to St. Thomas.
And this breakdown, the ruck has been a point of contention throughout this game. We've had turnovers, we've had balls squirting out the side, we've had penalties, all kinds of things going on. A lot of changes in this lineup for Ohio State. Some of them tactical, some of them forced upon them. And now Charambira, who's been playing on the inside center position. Mukumba sends it wide to number 23, Arteta. Arteta pins his ears back, and he is quick, and he gets right around the edge. Unable to catch him is Ricker, and Arteta goes in for a try under the post. St. Thomas gets it to 55.
Really good footwork there on the edge by 23 to isolate that wing, create any sort of doubt in terms of his defensive line in, and just turn on the afterburners and get it to the center.
I think this game has been a good education for the Ohio State players. The idea that you will play against teams that can run, and how do you defend against that, and how do you avoid giving them some of the gifts that they have given them. I wouldn't say that this one, as we see the replay on this, just look at the pace.
Well, and I think they are now also seeing, like, how do I expand our longevity? How do I keep the energy from the first 20 for the last 20? Do our impacts coming in understand their role and what we need, and how to breathe life into this team that's where a majority have been on the field for 80 minutes.
High ball, went up for it. Williams, who's had a very good game. He takes that in. Another player's been working hard, Eddie Markson, the former Ohio Aviator, or current Ohio Aviator for that matter. Low pass, hard to corral that one. Handling errors have not helped Ohio State.
No, but rugby.
As we get down to about 2 minutes to go. Scrum down the middle of the field, 57 to 20. St. Thomas leads. .22 points by Welton Charambira, 3 tries from Noku Mukumba. And once again, looking to go straight to Apelva. Charambira.
Quick overload here, yet great footwork.
And there is Mukumba dragged down by his shirt. A big battle in that breakdown again, as we talked about it. And it's a good turnover for Ohio State. Kotnick kind of left alone there, and that ball was taken, but it was taken illegally in from the side. Just about a minute to go now. Kennedy kicks to touch. Well fielded. And we'll get down to possibly the last play of the game, the last sequence of the game. This lineout for Ohio State. Probably looking to target Williams one more time. Well, no, the Williams will be the lifter. They'll go to the back. Out they go through Ricker.
Great
all to the outside.
There.
Garnes looking to feed it back inside. A bit of a hospital pass, really.
A hospital pass to an isolated player,
yes,
with the defense chasing back, so therefore they're in the optimal position.
Someone's surrounded. Oh, and then a very unlucky turnover by Ohio State, and Owen Phillips comes in and nabs it and goes under the posts. And heads hang for Ohio State. Owen Phillips goes in for his second try of the day. Under the post for St. Thomas. And that will pop them past the 60 mark, 62 to 20 now. And Charambira looking to get, and in fact, it's not Charambira this time. He says, I don't need it. I've already got 22 points.
Gonna let our back row have a go.
There we go. So Phillips kicks it, misses, is roundly mocked by his teammates, and that is your ball game. 62-20. The Upstate Bowl goes to St. Thomas, and a really spirited effort by Ohio State. They were down some players and had to sort of work around with their lineup. It was a tough one, but a great showing by St. Thomas. We will take a break right now, and we will talk to our game MVP and see a trophy given. So we will be right back.
To understand the game in its fullest, you need to understand what's happening to the ball.
Gilbert is synonymous with every major event that's happened in our sport.
The ball is a conductor of the orchestra. We put a tiny microchip inside the ball. We're getting location information from the ball, speed, spin, distance, trajectory, hang time.
The technology and the innovation behind this ball is truly a game changer.
Whey protein is my favorite product. Best part about it is I can have it straight after a workout or a training session.
My favorite product is vitamin D. Back in DC, we practice a lot indoors, especially in winter, don't get a lot of sunlight, so having some vitamin D is important. We select Thorn because we know it's tested and it's safe to use.
And we're back with the postgame. 64-20 is the final. And Carly Waters, what do you think of this performance by St. Thomas as they get the trophy?
Took them 20 minutes to warm up, but once they got comfortable, they were executing exactly what they came here to do. Keep ball in hand, put the ball in the hands of their threats. Number 15, number 10, they were lethal for them today, and it played to their favor.
For Ohio State, positives from them?
Really, really great execution and discipline the first 20 minutes. They had layers in their attack and executed in terms of transition and opportunities. Faltered a little in the middle there, but we have to remember, these boys are there for school, and they lost a number of starters this weekend to finals.
They certainly did, and a couple of injuries as well, so they battled through for that. St. Thomas, talented, working together, seem like they're having a good time, and isn't that what it's all about? 3 tries from Noku Mukumba at fullback, and 2 tries from Owen Phillips. Meanwhile, Welton Charambira with 22 points, with a try, a penalty, and a whole bunch of conversions. Also a try from Joby Napton as they celebrate their Upstate Bowl trophy. We're going to be chatting with the player of the game, and our choice is Noku Mukumba from the number 15 position, the fullback, who scored 3 tries. There were a number of stars there, a number of good performances, but Noku, Carly, was pretty electric.
He absolutely was.
So as we get going there, we do have some games coming up. Of course, Arkansas State, Penn State men coming up, and then after that, Arizona against Mount St. Mary's. And we are setting up with Noku Mukumba, is going to put on his headset and chat with us just briefly. And he's, I think, there very soon. Noku, can you hear us?
Oh, yes, I can. How are you doing?
I am doing great, Noku. Congratulations with the 3 tries. What was happening for you to be able to score 3 times and set up a couple more?
Yeah, you know, honestly, everything I give or get is due to the team, man. We've got an awesome team, and if they don't play for me, I can't play for them. I can't produce. So honestly, I'm just so happy to be able to contribute. And you know, we've been practicing for weeks on end, so I know roundabout where my teammates are going to be. They know where I'm going to be, and we know how to play to each other's strength. So I'm just glad for today.
Excellent. And you have so many weapons in that back line, obviously with Welton Cherambira setting everybody up. It must be a lot of fun to train with these guys.
Yeah, honestly, you mentioned Welton. I mean, what a guy. This is my freshman year, my first time playing, and when you've got a 10 like Welton, honestly, I can't give him enough praise, man. The guy is awesome. He's such a leader, and, you know, the play centers around him. So when he's playing well, we're all playing well. And the rest of the seniors as well. I mean, these guys are awesome, awesome players, awesome people above all. And, yeah, I'm just glad to be here.
Tell me a little bit about what the challenge that Ohio State presented to you. They went up 10-0 early on you. So tell me what are some of the things that they did that made it difficult?
Yeah, you know, Ohio State is a D1 team. You know, we're still D1 AA as of today. So, you know, we're a bit intimidated by them. They're big in size. The boys from Florida are a bit smaller, but we are quicker. So I think early on they won the mental game. But then as time went on, we began to trust ourselves and were able to bounce back. I mean, the guys are really big, as I say, so the forwards were taking it in big and strong in the carries, and we had to try and match that, especially in the second half, and I think we did so.
Well, Noku, guess what? We have another trophy for you because you're player of the game.
Thank
so
you so
congratulations,
much.
3 tries, a great performance overall, and we have a MVP trophy for you. Well done.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Noku. And thank you to everybody who's watching. And today's broadcast was granted by the College Rugby Association of America and the Rugby Network. Any use or rebroadcast requires the written consent of College Rugby Association of America and TRN. For my partner, Carly Waters, and our production team at DNA Studios, I'm Alex Goff. Thank you for watching.